Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. To other stories now, government has affirmed its commitment to ensuring the completion of the Bonkra Inland Port project, a major trade infrastructure expected to transform shipping and cargo handling in the northern part of the country. This assurance was given by the Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of operations at the Ghana Shippers Authority, Prince Henry Ankra, during a familiarization visit to the project site. According to him, the inland port remains a key priority in Ghana's logistics and transportation development agenda. Nana Boachi Adam has more in the following report.
The Bonkra Inland Port project, when fully operational, is expected to become a major logistic hub connecting the Ashanti region to major ports and neighboring countries. The familiarization visit by the Ghana Shippers Authority sought to assess progress on the ongoing construction and reinforce government support towards its timely completion. According to the Deputy CEO for the Shippers Authority in charge of operations, Prince Henry Ankra, the government is committed to the completion of the port project.
Of course, I think the government is very committed to this project and to ensure that it's commissioned to serve the purpose for which it was brought forth. For us as Shippers Authority, every month we do what we call a shipper committee meeting. We thought it wise that since the shippers are the ones who is going to benefit from this project, it is important that we bring them here to come and assess things for themselves and to see what we've been able to do, to be able to accomplish. This is a project for them, and this is also a cargo driven. And for the cargo to come, it means that it will be coming from the shippers. So it was important that they come and see, assess things for themselves to see how far we've come, and to also have an opportunity to engage with the managers of the project to ask questions for themselves and to see what we've been able to do and what is left for us to do.
Project consultant Dr. John Bernard Cranton York disclosed that ongoing works remain on track in line with the project's expectations.
Yes, in terms of the scope and then the way we have phased the project, works is going as expected, but we think that we can increase the momentum from now onwards based on there are certain due diligence and things that has been completed, and therefore the road is now clear for us to move on. Government also has indicated to us that we should continue the project. So very soon, I know there are some outstanding payments which Shippers Authority is working seriously to make the contractor have some money to continue the project. But in terms of the output, the contractor has the capacity to do more than we have seen now.
Dr. York highlighted completed elements of the facility, including foundational infrastructure, drainage systems, and portions of internal road networks as significant milestones already achieved.
We've done the terminal, the operational area. We are raising the structures, and then most of the road network I think we've completed most of them. One of the things we are going to do is the interchange, which would help us have easy access to the site. You could see the simulation that we did. So we've we've done the geotechnical investigation. We've realized that the bedrock is not very, very deep, and I think it will also have impact on cost. But we've done all the concept. We've had discussion with Ghana Highway Authority. They've agreed. We've selected an option based upon which we will do the designs and then give it to the contractor.
Some shippers present during the visit shared the excitement about the progress of the project.
And with 50%, like you rightly mentioned, I think it's going to go a long way to, also help, exporters. As I speak with you, on a yearly basis, we are doing around 1,700 containers. And if I don't have to transport the containers all the way from Kumasi to Tema, but I'm able to do it from just that short distance, I think it will go a long way to help exporters.
For Joy News, Nana Boachi Adam, Kumasi.
The CAF Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, we have a special conversation coming up. I have with me in the studio the ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament, Reverend Ntim Fordjour, joining us in the studio. The minority have raised quite a number of concerns, and we'd just like to flesh out some of them. Key among them, the concerns about LGBTQ and the bill so far. They have some concerns. We'll put that to him this afternoon on The Pulse, as well as the recruitment exercise. The minority raised some concerns, and key among them, that controversy about resourcing the Ghana Armed Forces and the procurement of some jets. So let's delve right into it. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. Great. Let's start with your concerns about the LGBTQ bill. You are of the opinion that this administration is trying to stifle the whole bill. Why exactly is that?
Clearly, it's very disappointing that NDC is running away from the bill, the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, which we all joined forces, bipartisan, and passed it in the 8th Parliament, but unfortunately could not complete the entire processes for assent. A lot of legal battles. There was a lot of politics NDC did, in particular with this bill. So the expectation was that the moment they get into office, they were even going to present, a government-sponsored bill. We are in the 11th month, nothing of that sort had happened. The beginning of the year, in February specifically, I led a team of my colleagues, 10 of us, we submitted the same bill, Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025. It went through all the processes in Parliament, Speaker, Clerk. It went all the way for gazetting. And the moment you gazette a bill, the next step is that automatically appears on the order paper. It is presented and laid for first reading. It indeed appeared at the beginning of this meeting, the third meeting of this 9th Parliament. There were a lot of controversies. They took it out Nicodemously, rather shamefully. They removed it. It had never happened that you advertise a matter on an order paper and it's removed the next day, but it was done.
What explanation was given, though?
The explanation the majority leader gave was that they didn't know about the bill and they thought that the bill was already passed and President Mahama should sign it and it shouldn't have to be, recommenced in Parliament.
And the Speaker ruled
the Speaker gave a ruling that there's nothing wrong with the bill. It has to be submitted in the shape and form and the processes we had undertaken was to write. But the Speaker
also disagreed with the fact that because the 8th Parliament passed the bill, the process should not be triggered all over again. The Speaker was of the opinion that we would have to start the process all over because it's a new Parliament.
Yes, and the Speaker, yes, just as you said, rightly so, that the processes will have to begin. It's a fresh introduction, but it's not expected that it would delay and go through a lot of scrutiny because all the work had been done and this finished product just going through the mill again. So the expectation was that immediately after Speaker's ruling, if indeed, even not for rhetorics, and NDC was truly committed to passing this bill, they should have quickly reintroduced it on the order paper the next day. But Faustina, it's been 6 weeks since the Speaker gave this ruling. And every week we go and approve another business statement by the chairman of the business committee, the majority leader. They have always run away from featuring that bill. So today I raised it on the floor.
As one of the leading members of the NPP and also one of the leading proponents of that bill, you can raise it.
So I raised it at 2 occasions this morning in Parliament and raised it very forcefully and demanded that it should be featured immediately. But of course, they are still adamant. And as we speak, they failed to amend the order paper. They failed to amend the business statement in the ensuing week to have it taken. So the question we're asking Speaker of Parliament is that was his ruling going to be an empty ruling? Is he allowing the business committee and the chairman of the business committee, the majority leader, to just flout his ruling, complete disregard for the ruling of the Speaker? And if indeed the Speaker meant his ruling, he would have directed that it appears. So it is just mind games NDC is playing. The other day we heard President Mahama indicating that he is ready if Parliament, he gave a condition, if Parliament is able to pass a bill, then he would sign. So their strategy.
So onus lies on you, Parliament, to do your job.
So
as minority, what will you do to fast track the process?
No, so Faustina, the Parliament, the strategy NDC is using is that now President Mahama is hiding behind the Speaker and the majority leader. So if they are able to block the bill from being laid then it doesn't get passed and it doesn't get to him to sign. So we are telling Ghanaians that if 93% of Ghanaians who truly find this bill the cure to the canker of LGBT that is devastating, that is destroying our norms and our culture, and that is affronting our values, they must speak up so that the president, the Speaker of Parliament, and the majority leader will see the urgency to reintroduce the bill on the order paper for Parliament to undertake the consequential passage. So we are demanding that wherever they've taken the bill to, they cannot play mind games any longer. Enough of the rhetorics. Let it be registered on the order paper so that Tuesday we lay it, then the processes will begin.
As ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee, I'm sure you're interested in the recruitment exercise ongoing currently. The minority, you told us you police the whole process. How far with that?
Yeah, indeed, it was very sad. My condolences to all the families of the 6 that have passed very, very sadly, avoidably, and those that are those who are wounded and are fighting for their lives. Indeed, when we visited them at 37, it was really, really sad things we saw. Our heart, goes out to them, our sympathies to the families and all the bereaved families and those that are recuperating. It is sad, but you see, for when such sad incidents occur, the first things that people will call for is that there must be consequences, there must be accountability, there must be people resigning, there must be people terminated or sacked. But I think...
We've heard that this administration have asked the leadership that organized the recruitment to step aside. I'm also informed that they instituted a board of inquiry to look into how best they can do this moving forward.
Our approach is that this will not be an occasion for partisan considerations. This will not be an occasion for us to do politics with the very sad incident people have passed. But we are looking at it from the minority. We are looking at it as an opportunity, rather painfully and regrettably, rather unfortunately, as an occasion to insist on reforms. Reforms that will ensure never again will this happen. You can terminate, you can sack, you can call for the heads of A, B, C, D, but at the end of the day, what we are interested in is the reform taking place. And so I would want to wish that the public will come along with us on this particular matter. We are going to ensure we exercise our oversight, we demand accountability, we demand that the right things are done, we demand the right measures are put in place.
What measures would be right
but
in
at the
this
moment,
situation?
The military is undertaking their board of inquiry.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll get opportunity to meet the leadership of the acting minister for defense, the chief of defense staff, and the service chiefs, so that they apprise us as to the status of the investigation so far, and for us to be able to chip in 1 or 2. But right from the beginning, when the incident happened, we all came together and supported. We made suggestions. So far, we've seen that they are following those suggestions. We said that they should halt it and they should decentralize further in highly populated centers and overly subscribed regions like Greater Accra region and Ashanti region. They have heeded to that. Yesterday, my colleagues joined the soldiers, inspected, and indeed we were satisfied with the reform that had started being implemented. They had scheduled potential recruits across various centers in about 8 different centers, 4 venues, but they've split them, scheduled them, and
So you're pleased with the process? So
far, all the excesses and all the inefficiencies and the failures we saw associated with the first process and the batch, sending out 21 text messages to 21 potential soldiers to gather in a single day at a single place. All that had been revised, and so we want to commend the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Ejapon, and his team, Army Commander, the Air Force, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Staff, and Chief of Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces for heeding to those calls and suggestions we put forth. So we are going to support them, and we are going to ensure that we safeguard the lives of potential recruits. But beyond the short-term measures we put in place, we're satisfied with. We want to see a long-term sustainable recruitment policy, which by the time we are done with our engagement with them, we'll be able to firm up formidable reforms that will ensure very decent, orderly, and efficient recruitment process that will be all year round, so that we don't have to wait until, if we obtain financial clearance, for instance, We'll have to program it around the year, so that if every month you can have dedicated recruitment centers. Every region can have their dedicated recruitment centers, even if we can possibly, further extend the decentralization to district, so that you can just walk in at any time and then ensure you go online, you fill in your details, you set aptitude tests. When you pass, you proceed to medicals and the subsequent processes seamlessly, so that this becomes a thing of the past. So let us use this opportunity whilst we grieve our daughters who have sadly passed, to be able to make changes that will work well for the Ghana Armed Forces.
As we wrap up the conversation, let's look at another key concern the minority has when it comes to the procurement of helicopters and jets for the Ghana Armed Forces. You've raised concerns about it. The last time we came up on the floor, Samuel Abujinapo and the majority leader went back and forth as regards to the exact amount. But you've always been pushing for the retooling of the Ghana Armed Forces. You should be pleased as the minority. Why are you kicking against this? We
have always been very excited, and we have been advocating when we're in power and even when we came into opposition. The NPP side, we have always been consistent that let us support our security agencies, not only Ghana Armed Forces, not only the military. Let us resource, the Ghana Police Service, let us resource immigration, let us resource fire service, let us resource prison service, let us resource Narcotics Control Commission. Every relevant agency within our national security architecture ought to receive optimum funding and resourcing. That has been our position. With regards to the assets of the Ghana Air Force, you remember in this country, the NDC made it a taboo to even raise an issue about going to modernize the fleet of Ghana Armed Forces. They made it a taboo to suggest that conversations should be had around buying a befitting plane for the Air Force that will carry the president around and the soldiers around.
So it's politics.
And yeah, they did politics. We said we will not do politics.
And now you're doing politics as well. Kicking against it.
Who has kicked against it from our side? Nobody has.
You've raised concerns about the amount we're using.
Nobody has kicked against it.
So you agree with this administration?
What we are saying is that we said that we need one befitting presidential, an aircraft for the Air Force that would assist in presidential travels. Just one.
Okay.
They resisted it. They opposed it openly. They threatened, and indeed they did it. But they come into office. They insisted that the Falcon was in pristine condition. They come into office, and in less than 1 year, they are proposing to buy 2 luxury jets. In addition to the Falcon that has returned, to have 3 luxury jets. And we are saying just one is enough. Just buy 1 new one. The old one can be returned, and then you top up for a befitting jet for the Air Force to carry the just one is okay. Why oppose one and call for 3 at the expense of the taxpayers' money?
Okay.
Over $1.2 billion we're told. And so that is what we are saying, that let us be sensitive to Ghanaians. You cannot oppose 1 presidential jet and now call for 3 luxury presidential jets within a space. But we support retooling of the Ghana Armed Forces.
I see.
But let us prioritize the battle readiness of the Ghana Armed Forces, not prioritizing the luxury travels of the people in power.
Reverend Ntim Fordjour, my guest in the studio. I appreciate your time. And that's how we wrap up the Pulse. We look forward to a wonderful weekend. Have a pleasant day as you enjoy the rest of our programs. My name is Faustina Safo. Good afternoon.